members of the board, David Martinez, Jenkins Law Firm, on behalf of the applicants.
Your name for the record?
Anup Agarwal.
Thank you.
Brian Ashton.
Brian Ashton. Thank you.
Healing.
And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I would question my witnesses and then turn it back. Thank you. Mr. Agarwal, you're here this morning seeking, as Ms. Bailey just recited, a new Class BT Tavern on-sale beer, wine, and liquor license for Smoking Room 301 located, and you are the sole owner of the entity. Is that correct? That's correct. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, I am. Are you a Charles County resident? Yes, I am. Have you resided here for more than 2 years prior to us filing this application?
Yes, 4.5 years actually.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony criminal offense?
No.
Can you describe for the board, some of the board members may be familiar with hookah smoking since we have a lounge in Charles County, but can you just describe to the board?
Fast for me.
Okay, it's basically you're smoking flavored tobacco, which has barely any nicotine, so it's just flavored smoke.
And how is that delivered?
It's basically you light a charcoal to get the smoke, but you're really heating the tobacco.
If the board grants this license, do you agree to comply with all laws required of liquor license holders?
Yes, I do. Yes, I will.
To your knowledge, is there only one other hookah lounge in Charles County?
Yes.
Do you hold an ownership interest in any other place of business in Charles County that holds a liquor license?
No.
Have you ever held a liquor license?
No.
Mr. Ashton, you're going to be employed as a general manager at Smoking Room 301, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And are you alcohol awareness certified?
Yes, I am.
And can you just describe to the board your general business experience?
Well, I've been drinking since I was 21, and I've been smoking. No.
Mr. Agarwal,
Yes, sir.
how much experience do you have in alcohol business?
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Mr. Agarwal, I remember the testimony of Beer for You in the investigation. You were the manager when those violations were happening.
Objection. We had a violation here and that was contested. And Mr. Winters, with due respect, there wasn't a violation.
Okay, my
here
question
for
is,
Beer
were
for
you the manager during those violations?
I was not.
Okay.
Mr. Winters, your relevance for that particular question, where are you going?
Him running a business with a liquor license? That establishment had many violations during his management, but he's saying he wasn't the manager. So I would like it to be cleared up.
Mr. Pagoon, do you have anything that would indicate he was a manager?
I certainly can. Master Corporal McHugh, now Sergeant McHugh, and myself did do an inspection on Beer for You. And I will tell you that Mr. Agarwal did respond to the establishment as the manager, or identified himself as the manager. He said they were running Beer for You for 3 months because they were testing it to see if they wanted to buy it. He did say that he wasn't getting any pay for that. They were doing it free of charge, but they were doing it. And they were in fact running that business for 3 months, and that is when the 10-count violation happened, Beer for You. You didn't hear Beer for You because that license was surrendered. But Mr. Agarwal was in the establishment at that time.
I just wanted to sort of bring the board's attention to the fact that it's appropriate for you all to consider the Beer for You charges and the, I guess, facts surrounding that particular issue with respect to this new application, that is appropriate pursuant to this board's rules. However, because that has been, well, the license was surrendered, but whatever the case may be, that hearing has happened and it's been adjudicated, and so we don't want to go down the road of retrying the same charges that were alleged in the show cause. However, it is appropriate for the board to consider with respect to this applicant's fit and properness to hold a license, what his role was with respect to the Beer for You show cause.
At this point, it's established that he was a part of the old ownership as a manager.
Well, they're saying for the record that he was not an owner at that time, but that our records
Not an owner, part
correct.
of the management.
He was a manager, and that's reflected in the police reports.
Right.
That's for your consideration in your board.
Mr. Agarwal, weren't you a part of that business when it was Beer for You?
No, I wasn't a part of it. I was interested in buying the business, but the deal never went through.
Okay. So now you have bought the business, but you're changing
No, I don't have the business.
That business went out. The previous business went out, and my client, has now rented the space from the landlord.
Okay, so you're leasing the space from the landlord after the close of Beer for You. But you were intending at one time when it was Beer for You to try to purchase the Beer for You establishment.
Surface level, where or how did you secure your funding to start the business?
Objection.
Mr. Darden, we don't want to go down that road.
Information.
Does anyone that holds a license within Charles County have any financial interest within your company?
No.
You are the sole owner of this establishment.
100%
There's no one else.
No, sir.
You're not going to come back here a couple of months from now and someone else says, well, he's my cousin and he's part of the business. 100% you're the owner.
100% owner.
Okay.
Believes this is a good fit for Charles County. There's only one hookah lounge in the county currently. Seeking to add a second venue for the citizens of Walworth and Charles County.
Look, I just want to remind the board members that we're here to decide whether or not Mr. Agarwal should be issued a license. Who he chooses to hire for his business, ultimately, if that fails on his shoulders, falls back on him. We can't sit in judgment of who he wants to bring on board for his business. Hey, do we have a motion? I will once we get.
Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve this license for Smoking Room 301 LLC, trading as Smoking Room 301, 2177 Crane Highway, Waldorf, Maryland.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion from the board? Is anyone in the audience has anything to add? Ever heard none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. How many opposed? 3.
You want to roll
For
call
the-
the record?
For the sake of the order, we do have to have findings of fact. So if it is the will of the board that this will be denied, if you could at least provide some indication of the basis for that decision, because you do have to have findings of fact. So if it's that you didn't deem the applicant to be a fit and proper person, that would be fine. We need something.
Mr. Winters, your reason?
Not a fit and proper person to hold a liquor license.
I agree. Mr. Darden? Sorry, Mr. Martinez.
Okay. Well, thank you all.